Good evening and welcome to another edition of Birds at Knowle West. We're cheating a bit again because we've been out and about, and we're going to first of all talk about a trip we made to Severn Beach. We went to the north end of Severn Beach and we arrived at about high tide. This isn't a very good thing to do possibly, but we did find it very interesting because as we stood there, about 200 or 300 oyster catchers flew by in little batches of 20 or 30. It was almost like standing there taking a military march past. And then, as the tide went down a little bit further, there were great flocks of lapwings, another black and white bird, flying around over the marshes waiting for the sands to uncover. And when about 3 hours after high tide the sands were bare, there was a most wonderful collection, great flocks of dunlins, which are little tiny brown and light brown birds, lapwings all over the place and oyster catchers, simply covering all the sand that was there. It's worth paying a trip out there one day. Try and get there just about an hour after high tide and sit and watch for about an hour or so, and you'll see a lot of very interesting water birds. Well, last Sunday we went to Bristol Zoo, especially to have a look at the birds they've got there. And we saw some very interesting things. First of all, there was an interesting pair of swans.
These swans, they mainly come from Australia and some come from Argentina. They're all black and they've got red beaks. And sometimes, if the weather's really rough, they carry their little chicks on their back. And we also saw some flamingos.
Yeah, there's 5 different sorts of flamingos. You could tell the difference by their, one's pink and one's red, and you get all different colours, and by their feet as well.
Yes, they were a rather wonderful collection of flamingos. If you didn't really know there were 5 sorts, you might think they were all the same. And then we saw a pair of gear birds that had just hatched out a chick that day. We all stood round the cage and sang happy birthday, and then we watched the mother and the father almost fight it out to try and stop the father to get into the nest, because sometimes they attack the young. Well, spring is in the air almost, and the daffs are out, and very soon you'll be noticing the birds are flying around carrying in their beaks all sorts of bits of material to build nests. And we thought tonight we'd just show you some of the old nests we found around Knowle West and just say a few words about them. First one we've got is a song thrush.
This is a song thrush's nest. The lining is mostly moss and straw, and the inner parts of the nest is out of mud. You will find this in brambles and hedgerows.
This is a blackbird. You could tell blackbird because it got horsehair all around the sides, and it's made up of twigs and brown grass.
Okay. This nest is a wren's nest. You could tell the wren's nest because it lays on its side like that, and there's a little hole at the front which mother comes and feeds her chicks. This part here is twice as thick as the part here for the mother to stand on and feed her chicks. This nest is mainly made up of straw on the inside and outlined with moss and fur. And inside is very big, as you might be able to see there.
This is a chaffinch's nest. It is mainly made of straw and some sheepskin wool. It nests pretty high in brambles and thorny edges.
You've got a very tiny one there, Stephen, haven't you?
Yeah, this is a goldfinch. You can tell a goldfinch by the it got grass, parts of grass on the grass roots, and it's made up of horsehair and little bits of fur, and you can compare it with the blackbird.
That's a tremendous difference, isn't it?
The next nest is a bullfinch's nest. Like all the finches that have got horsehair in, but this one have got loads of it in, and it covers the bottom. And also, there are these little things inside of it, which are in every finch's nest. And it's outlined with moss and bits of mud to stick it together. And this nest is a greenfinch's nest. It's like the bullfinch's nest, like that, but it's got more grass and straw, and you get bits of fluff and bits of moss inside, and again the mud on the bottom.
Well, these are all nests we found in the last few months, old nests from last year. And as I say, very soon you'll see the birds beginning to make their nests. Which is it? Do both the male and female help make the nests, or is it just the dad that does it, or which?
Well, most of the time, both of them makes the nest, but there are occasionally when the male just gallivants off and then it leaves the female to do all the work.
Oh, the female does most of the work.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. About how long does it take to make, I was going to say an average nest? Is it a matter of days or weeks?
Sometimes it's a matter of days and sometimes it's a matter of weeks, all depending what bird it is.
On the size of it, I suppose.
Yeah.
But say that sort of biggish one over there,
The song thrush.
the song thrush one.
Well, say about near a week.
A week or so.
Yeah.
So you can have quite a bit of interest if you just stand watching a nest being built. You can watch a pair of birds for over a week or so. Now, having made the nest, the female, of course, is going to lay her eggs. How long, roughly, does she sit on the eggs for?
Well, it sits on for between 12 and 16 days, so about just over 2 weeks.
Oh,
so about 2
not
weeks.
very long, in fact.
No, not very long.
But long enough for you to notice that she's
Yeah.
there doing it, and presumably Dad goes off getting the meals for her while she's there. And then the chicks hatch out. Stephen, how long do they take before they're sort of strong enough to fly?
Well, roughly about 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks. And while the mother's there with the ones until they're strong enough, I suppose father still feeds them.
Yeah.
And then does mother go off and help the feeding?
Yeah, they both goes off when the chicks is fairly big.
Mm. And are they able to feed themselves when they can first fly? Does it sort of coincide?
Well, most of the time, the mother or the father comes back. You know, when the little chicks is sat down on edges, they comes over and feeds them with worms.
So even after they can fly, they still need to be fed?
Yeah.
Ah. What size are they? By the time they've, hatched out and flown and they're feeding themselves, I suppose they're almost the same size as the parents.
Well, usually they're a lot bigger.
Well, they're bigger, are they?
Yeah, because all their feathers sticks out and they're not plumed yet. And, they've got not much colour in them. But gradually when they get older, their feathers mixes together and it gets more streamlined.
Well, that's
and
right.
it's
They look all
smaller.
fluffy, don't they, when they're
Yeah.
young? That's right. And there is a difference, I presume, between the male and the female very often in each bird, is there?
Well, usually the female's brownishy colour when the male's, in a different colour.
Well, of course, yes, true of the blackbird, isn't it?
Male
too,
is
yes.
more colourful than the female.
In all respects, yeah, that's true. Well, there you are. Any moment now, you'll be able to watch a pair of birds building their nest. If you're patient, you might be able to see the mother on the nest, and then in about 6 weeks or 2 months' time, you might even see the young birds flying out of the nest. And I hope you're lucky in that respect. Next month, when we come back, we hope to have some of the birds that are on exhibit down at the museum for you to see, and someone from the museum to talk about what they got down there. Good night.